The real estate world?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, that was all just
Really?
set. Brilliant.
Really?
Brilliant.
Where was the content creation idea? I needed that one. Hello, thank you so much for joining us today on Evolve Your Brand podcast. I'm your host, Ollie Amirkhiz, and our show is owned and produced by the one and only Icon Industries. Shane, Steven, team, really appreciate all that you do. Today, we have the one and only Lina Saba. Her IG handle is Lina and House. And this is going to be a fun one, folks. This is an expert on branding, and I'm really looking forward to it. Lina, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, absolutely. It's our pleasure. So what is it that you are known for? We'll start with there. What is Lina's niche?
I guess my niche is going to have to be my tech tips.
Okay.
And my tech savviness, so to speak. When I first got into real estate, one of the first things I did was actually create an Instagram account because I knew that this is going to be the way of the future is social media. And you needed to get your name and your brand out there. And there was a couple of different agents that I was following at the time. And I was like, okay, like that looks doable. I can do that. And so when I first started, I started off with trying to figure out what would be a good name. And I really love house music. So I was like, well, why not do a play on words, Lina and House? So house music, selling houses, let's do this, right? So that's kind of how it started.
Okay.
And I really was hesitant on posting about real estate in the beginning.
Okay.
Because I was like, okay, I'm not there yet. Let me just lean on what I know. And so I was literally posting a house music song every single day for the first year of my page.
So if I didn't know any better, I would think you're a DJ.
Well, yeah. So that's funny you should say that. That's actually one of my longtime passions is since I was 21 years old, I thought it would be really cool to learn how to DJ. So last summer, I got a turntable, a controller, and I'm starting to learn now.
And it's part of your brand, Lina and House.
Yes.
I had no idea. I thought the house was for real estate.
Oh, yeah.
I had to know. I didn't know the backdrop of that story.
Yeah.
So we have a fun thing we like to do just to give some people some insight. We're going to do a 60-second rapid fire asking you some questions. And one of my favorite questions on this show.
Okay.
If you watch any of our episodes, dogs or cats?
Neither.
What animals do you prefer?
I'm maybe a bunny.
Okay, you like bunnies. Good. We're changing it up. I'm a fan of bunnies. Favorite tacos?
Ooh, like a taco shop?
Taco shop.
I'm going to have to give a shout out to Lupe's. They have a mushroom shrimp burrito that's fire.
Mushroom shrimp burrito.
Yeah.
That sounds
amazing. It is amazing.
Where's Lupe's?
It's like catty corner to Mesa College.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, if you're in the Mesa area, you got to check the spot out. We always and this one shop, like Entrepreneur, right?
You know what? They do catering too, I think.
Oh, they do.
But
okay.
I don't know if they have multiple locations.
There we go. We'll give them a shout out. Favorite beach in San Diego?
La Jolla Shores.
Okay.
Yeah.
La Jolla Shores?
Yeah.
And what's your favorite part about that beach?
The waves.
Awesome. What is your favorite food and where do you like to get it?
Oof. My favorite food?
Yeah.
I have to go with sushi. And I have to say Full Moon is one of my favorite spots downtown.
Okay.
Yeah.
I freaking love sushi.
Yeah. Who doesn't?
I don't know. If you don't like sushi,
there's a problem.
I don't know. We can't hang out. Okay. What is your favorite vacation spot?
Oof. Favorite vacation spot?
Yes, favorite.
Well, how about a place that I would like to go to that's on my bucket list that I haven't been to is probably the Maldives.
Right?
Yeah.
Are you talking about all the islands and stuff,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's on
Have you seen the pictures?
I've seen the pictures. I haven't been, but one of these days.
Okay. When's this going to happen? You got to throw it out there because we'll put it on video evidence and then you'll hold yourself accountable to it.
Yeah. Maybe on my 50th birthday.
There you go. You got a good,
something to
12,
look forward to.
14.
7 years.
No. Nobody heard that. No one heard that. We're going to cut that out. What is one thing about San Diego that makes everyone want to move here?
The weather, obviously.
Really? You think it's the weather?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've heard the people too.
I mean, it goes hand in hand, right? Because when you're outside, because we have good weather, you're going to want to look good. And so hence,
Right. What is your favorite part about house music?
My favorite part about house music?
Yeah, since you've been DJing. Like, what's your favorite part about DJing?
Well, I guess it would just be, for me, it's like, it's almost like I get to share what my favorite music is with people and let them in on songs that they might not have heard that they can then appreciate. And so I feel like, your ears just like, I don't know, like it's one of those senses where it just affects your whole body and then you just light up when you hear that song and you're like, oh my God, yes, yes. Like a perfect example is one of the songs that no matter where I am, no matter what I do, I'm always going to play is it's a Ben Wyatt Lazy Dog Sade remix of By Your Side. And that mix is like, no matter what, everybody loves that song.
I want to hear it.
Well,
Where's
yeah,
your
you
phone?
have to. Are you really? Oh, yeah, you have to get it on YouTube, though, because it's not like on.
Oh, we can get on YouTube. This is the first time, by the way, I've ever done this, but now you got my curiosity piqued.
There you go. Yeah, it's groovy.
There's got to be a first on every podcast episode, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Gotta bring the music. Gotta bring the music to the podcast.
I do. We might have a
Hopefully we don't get sued or copyright infringement or.
We might cut this out, so it might not end up in the actual episode, but you and I will get to enjoy it.
Yeah.
I actually have a huge passion. It's funny. I started listening to EMD music like 2.5 years ago, and I totally get.
Okay.
So when you said the whole DJ thing, I'm like, that's really cool. Like, I could see I just love it. It's the energy when I go work out. What do you listen to when you work out?
House music. Always,
okay, there you go.
Yeah. It pumps me up. It pumps me up. I literally run on house music. So even there was a period of time in my life where I was a runner, short-lived, like probably 2.5 years that I was a runner. And during that time, it fueled all my runs. So that's all I listen to. And again, it's just been ingrained in me. And there's just something about it. I
100% understand. What is the one thing in this world you love above everything else?
Oh, wow. My children.
There you go. Boom. And how many kids do you have?
3.
Amazing. How old are they? 15,
13, and 10.
You are in the thick of it. This is where the adventure.
Yep.
This is when the adventure begins for all our parents out there. So, Lina, how did your story begin? Like, how did you end up in San Diego? How does your journey begin?
I grew up in San Diego. So
you did?
Yeah, I grew up in San Diego.
What part of San Diego did you grow up in?
I grew up in Imperial Beach, and so been in San Diego, and went to Mar Vista High School, and I went to San Diego State. I majored in mathematics. I thought I was going to be a math teacher.
Aztecs.
And go Aztecs. And I think that's part of the reason how kind of the technology comes into play too. I think in a sense I've always kind of had that like teacher in me where it's like I want to help people learn something. Like I used to tutor math. So it just...
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it just comes natural to try to either teach or something like that.
Where did your passion come from with math and stuff?
So I just come from a family of engineers. So my dad was an electric engineer. His brothers were all engineers. We have every kind of engineer you could think of, mechanical, civil, all my cousins, my brothers, chemical. I have all the engineers you can think of are in my family.
Okay.
So,
and how come you didn't become an engineer?
Well, again, my father wanted me to be an engineer, but I was also always the contrarian. And so I always wanted to rebel and do something different. So, I originally actually started off as an accounting major at San Diego State, and then I pivoted to mathematics because I started thinking that I was going to teach. Okay. And then, but none of that happened. I ended up actually working at the Manchester Grand Hyatt while I was at San Diego State. And then during that time, I remember it was like September 11th, and I ended up, there wasn't as much tourism during that time. And so I ended up tutoring math around that time. And then I stayed with the Hyatt. And eventually when I did graduate, they offered me a management position and I took it. And then I did front desk I did front desk management, and then I did reservations management. And that was one of my funnest jobs because I was the head of 8 other reservations agents, and it was all us girls, and we had a blast. And of course we were playing music every day. It was a behind the scenes type of department at that time. And funny enough, one of my very first clients was one of my mentors when I was at the Hyatt. So she was the reservations manager. She got promoted to revenue manager, and then I took her old job. We worked together for about 5 years. And then when I posted on social media, hey, I'm with Compass now, she was one of the first people to reach out and say, hey, I want to move.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. Everything is full circle.
So what's the one moment that stands out to you when you said everything comes full circle? What made you realize, like, boom, this is where the transition is, where I'm going to change careers?
I guess that would be the example right there. Just the people that you meet in your path of life will always come around. Like, I even had my very first, the guy who trained me at the Hyatt 22 years ago. He reached out to me recently and was like, hey, I'm moving to San Diego. I want you to be my real estate agent.
No way.
We stayed connected through social media. We never disconnected from Facebook at the time. And he's like, yeah, looks like you're crushing it on social media. I would love for you to be my agent. We're moving down from LA. I'm like, perfect. So, these are the things and these are the moments that you realize that, anyone you meet, anyone that's coming into your sphere, they're there for a reason.
Right. They absolutely are.
And a lot of people in the beginning, they reached out to me and they said, oh, house music, houses. Okay. Like, I've never seen that before. No one else is doing that. And I was like, oh, cool. So I didn't really think too much of it. It was just something that I was doing. And then I was like, okay, well, I'm getting a good reaction. And at the same time, it was around the same time that EDM, house music in general, just became more mainstream and more accepted. And so sometimes I actually wish it was a hidden secret and stayed underground, but what do you
really?
It's out now.
How come?
I don't know. It's kind of like everybody's involved now. Like before it was like, just for house heads, and now it's like,
I got you. Because it's become mainstream.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny how when something becomes mainstream, it's like it takes a little bit of the joy out of it.
A little bit. Yeah. But it's okay because the real house heads know who they are.
Well, I'm not going to fall into your circle. You got a lot to teach me. You got a lot to teach me about that. When you went to San Diego State, what was one of the best experiences you had there?
Oh my gosh. You're asking me to think a very long time back. Oh, I can't remember.
You just aged yourself. I didn't do anything.
I know, but
I just want you to know that.
I know.
This will definitely be a short.
I can't remember that much. I do remember that my sister, actually, I remember being very jealous of my sister when we were both going to San Diego State because I was sitting here taking super hard calculus, abstract math, all these hard classes. Meanwhile, she's taking like canoeing or whatever, like bowling. And I'm like, what? How are you doing this? Because she and I were opposites.
Right.
So she's looking like, which major has the least amount of math? Boom, public administration. I'm taking that. And so that was the path that she took. Meanwhile, I'm here, taking all these like super hard math classes. And that's just how it goes.
Seriously, calculus in college is very, very different than calculus in high school.
Absolutely.
Oh, it was blindsided.
I was helping my mom clean out her garage one day, and I saw my old math books, and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I used to understand all this. Like now, it's like so gone from my memory.
Okay, have you tried to do new math with the kids?
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa. Okay, this is a different ball game these kids are playing.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
I'm glad my youngest teaches me. I'm like, buddy, teach me what I need to know so I can help you.
So I actually, again, I was so against TikTok. Like for a long period of time, I refused to download the app. I didn't want anything to do with it. I was like, no TikTok. And then slowly but surely, I was like, okay, well, it's just another platform. We'll just basically repurposed content. You're posting it here, you're posting it there, etc. And after some time, one of my videos ended up doing really well on TikTok. So I was like, okay, well, why not? It's another avenue of, learning and meeting clients. So, yeah.
I appreciate that you took us down this path, because let's jump into like your passion. Your passion today with what you do to impact your community is what?
I think I'm still on the newer side. I'm still getting into the business, but I see down the road, I really want to implement kind of like the teacher in me again. I do want to help level up the industry. I want to have realtors, real estate agents, professionals. I just want to get rid of the stigma of the used car salesman stigma for real estate agents, basically. So I want us to be performing at a higher caliber. I want us to be answering our phones. I want us to be responding to clients in a timely manner. I want just as an industry for us to level up. And I feel like technology is one of the ways to do that. I think, the more that technology evolves, I think it's going to make it better and easier for clients to really be able to work with agents, and everyone can really, have a great experience. Like with Compass, for example, we have something called collections. Okay. This is like Pinterest for homes. And one of the things I love about this is, as a client, you're getting this user-friendly, very easy, aesthetically pleasing that you can use on your phone when you have the app, that you can use on your desktop. Everything is in one place. So you're able to make comments on the property that you're looking at, like say like, hey, Lina, I don't know about this property, but I kind of want to see it. Or I think, it might be too small, et cetera, et cetera. I can then also comment back. And then that way your communication is all in one place versus text and email and all these other things. At the same time, if they wanted to see that property, it's just one button. They're clicking request a tour. Then I can set up a tour sheet. And then that's a whole nother, thing that we don't have to get into now. But again, Compass has these amazing tools and technologies that make our life easier, that then makes the client experience better.
Would you mind if I share something with you?
Sure.
Here's feedback.
Absolutely.
So I had the pleasure of connecting with Lina on social media. It was funny. She made a comment on one of my posts, and I said, hey, I'm a huge fan of yours. I've been following you on your tech tips. It's very, it's very unique. It helps you stand out. And, she invited me to go and visit her. And that was before, at an open house. I said, absolutely. So I'm a big people person. Like, when I think people bring value and they're very helpful and authentic, and who I met was who you are on social media, which was very powerful to me. And then you just absolutely blew my mind away about your attention to detail, about really how you leverage your tools to help enhance the experience for the end user. As you could tell, I was paying attention. So those are the types of things, when you talk about leveling up the standards in real estate, I 100% agree with you, because not all agents, not all lenders, not all real estate professionals are created equal. Just because you have a cool brand doesn't mean that you know how to do your job effectively to enhance that experience. So
100%.
Yeah. So my question for you is, what's the number one thing that you think would help our industry improve?
When I started my tech tips, oftentimes I did try to gear some of the tips towards real estate agents, because it was something that I was coming across as an agent. And I was like, oh, like text replacement. I was on a training call, and Robert Refkin, our CEO, he talked about how he was using text replacement. And I'm like, oh my God, duh. Like, why didn't I think of that? What a great idea.
Right.
So I took his idea, and then I, changed it up a little bit into a way that I could use it for, every day when you're asking for a showing, when you're asking, for this and that. You want to make sure your signature is in there. You want to make sure that you're, having everything ready to go, and you're able to do it in top speed, right? And that's another thing in our industry, especially when we were in that state of the house is going to be gone in like a day. Like, days on market were like ridiculous. So time is of the essence, and all these like time-saving tools only helps you to be better. And so oftentimes people kind of get the wrong idea. They're like, oh, you're just teaching shortcuts. Not exactly. I'm not trying to teach you like a shortcut to get out of doing work.
Right.
It's more of being efficient, and time is money. And you want to be efficient with your time so that you're not wasting your time posting or writing the same comment to the same person over and over again. Simple example. When you get a new follower on Instagram, for example, I like to thank this person like, hey, thank you for your follow. This is what my page is about. This is what you can expect, etc. Well, if I'm going to copy and paste that like from my notes, for example, every time, that's wasting time. So why not set up a text replacement? You're typing in 3 letters, you're getting an entire paragraph. Like, it's, again, about efficiency and managing your time wisely.
Well, and that's, I think, the key that you said is like efficiency as everything, because the more time you have, the more you can spend building relationships.
100%. I mean, this is the ultimate luxury that's left. Your time is the ultimate luxury.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Seriously. Dude, we can replace everything except for the one most important thing, the time that we spend creating moments. How come you actually tried to help the industry? Like, I mean, you were using it for your brand. How come it's important for you to help the industry improve?
Yeah. So one of the principles that we have actually at Compass is one of my favorite principles, which is collaborate without ego. And so for me, it comes natural. Like I said before, I'm like a teacher at heart. So, even in the first office that I was in, I found myself, teaching and helping my colleagues on certain, technology things. And so it just came naturally to then, well, everyone needs to know this.
Right.
You know what I mean? So why not put it on social media? You're getting a larger audience, and, maybe not just real estate agent can find this useful. Maybe someone else can find it useful. At the same time, I wasn't necessarily thinking that this was going to be a lead generation tool, but it just turned out to be that way, because this is a way of showing your personality, showing your brand. And then now people feel comfortable. They feel comfortable reaching out like, hey, Lina, I have a question about this, or I've been thinking about that. And again, it goes back to, well, now they feel like they know a little bit about you. They feel like they know you a little bit. They're more comfortable reaching out versus a static image or, something like that, where it's not as relatable, and you might not feel as comfortable approaching a real estate professional if you don't feel like you really can connect with them or know them.
Right. And it's such a personal relationship.
Oh, 100%.
It's so personal. Like, we're talking your house. And I think if we connected with what an intimate moment this is in people's lives, holy smokes.
Yeah. And I think you're actually really great about this too, because you understand the power of video. You're really good about sending like video messages, and that's what helps you also to stand out.
You know what? I actually love people. And when I take the time to reach out to someone, it's from the heart. It's sincere. It's not it's not a tactic. And that's where I don't think, that's one thing I don't like about social media. You see all these replies that people will put like, hey, are you interested in buying this? No, you actually don't know anything about me.
Right.
Like, do I want leads? What do you know about me?
Right.
Like, you didn't even to me, if you really want to stand out, I am the Alex Hermosi. Like, you should take the time to go look me up.
Yeah, 100%.
I make it accessible.
And it's funny that you say that too, because that's one of my biggest pet peeves.
What's that?
If I go look up an agent and your location isn't on your bio, I'm not even talking to you. Next. I don't have time to go research you and figure out what city you're in. I'm looking for a referral partner. I'm looking for someone, in a particular city. And if it's not on your bio, you're obviously not taking the time to inform your audience of where you are. Like, do you really think that everyone looking at your page is just in San Diego, for example?
Right.
No, they're not. And if you can't take that simple step, then you're not the high quality caliber agent that I want to work with.
I appreciate that, because reputation, let's talk about reputation in the real estate industry, because it's not something that I hear a lot of content made at. What is your opinion of how integral it is that you have a 5-star reputation in the real estate industry itself? Okay.
So it's so great that you asked this, because I actually did a whole video about this. This is actually one of the videos.
Did I miss it?
This is one of the videos. No, you didn't miss it. But this is one of the videos that got muted after having 5,000 views that I had to repost. Because,
no way.
Yeah, because I used trending audio. Yeah, they killed me. So anyways, it comes down to good agents want to work with good agents, right? So, and this is going to be a situation where when you have an offer for your client and you know the agent on the other side is doing their due diligence, they're reaching out, they're calling you first before submitting the offer, they're looking to see what your seller wants. That's the whole idea.
Right.
We're representing people in one of the largest transactions of their life, and you want to make sure that you're doing a good job. You want to make sure that you're not just sending over an offer, close to $1 million offer without having called the other side to find out, the seller needs a rent back. I mean, these are very simple practices that every real estate agent should be doing. And so, yes, of course, when you see the person on the other side taking the job seriously, doing a good job, knowing that they're representing their client well, then you know what kind of escrow you're going to have with them. You don't want that escrow falling out. Like, it's in both of your best interests to make sure your client is picking the best offer to make sure you make it to the finish line. Because what's the point of, getting into escrow if you're just going to fall out?
I'm all about the teamwork.
100%.
We owe it to sellers and buyers. It's all about the people that we're here to help. And I appreciate so much being in the actual real estate industry is when we all have that philosophy, because all the signs happen early on.
Oh, 100%. I mean, your first impression, right? You're giving your first impression from the moment you ask for the showing.
What do you said something that blew me away when I first met you. Okay. You said, I love being a buyer's agent. I said, excuse me? So I've been in the industry for about 5 years. How long have you been in?
Going on 2 years.
Okay, 2 years. You don't hear that too often. So what is it about being a buyer's agent that you're so passionate about?
Again, I'm a contrarian. So
you live it.
It is what it is, right? So I think part of it is because I'm a consumer at the end of the day. I'm used to being on the side of the consumer. So to me, it comes natural to be on the side of the buyer. So I understand the buyer side a lot more. And so that's the side that makes the most sense to me.
Right.
I've done, obviously, a couple of listings. And, each one has its challenges in its own way. I know in a sense that there's some agents that think that listings are easier. And so, and I get that. And I also understand the fact that, okay, yeah, everyone's coming to you and that part is easier. But there is also, for me, something really rewarding when it comes to helping someone select the house that's going to be right for them, helping them, on that adventure of seeing all these properties, seeing what makes sense. I don't know. I just love it.
I definitely see. I think that's where the educator comes out in you. Is that's a neglected. I think buyers in San Diego, it's overwhelming. They're drinking from a fire hose, and to have someone that's going to guide them, fire.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you can definitely see it that way too.
Well, and that's how come when I look at the what you showed me that you do for your clients from a buyer side, I just can't imagine what you do on the listing side. Because that was the thing, and that's where I appreciate being able to call out someone that, really is organized with how they're doing, because it's about the experience.
100%.
It's 100% about the experience. What is it that drives you so hard to have such high standards with your experience? Like, how come that's so important with you, with the families and people that you help?
I think it just comes from an early age.
Okay.
My parents and my father just had an extremely strong work ethic. And so I just have that strong work ethic from day one. I remember my mom used to joke with me and say, your dad doesn't own the Hyatt. Like, that was her way of saying that, you're working so hard for this company, that's not your own, so to speak, right? So, and my father was an entrepreneur, and I think it's just part of it. It's just ingrained in us. It just to be a hustler, like it's part of our like edge, so to speak. Nothing is owed to you. You have to go out and you have to earn it, And so one of the things that I always say, like, I have a lot of mantras I live by, but one of them is, it's not about the deal, it's about the referral, meaning that it doesn't, your focus should not be necessarily about the deal. Your focus should be about getting the referral. And how do you do that? You're going to do that by providing the person with the best experience, so much so that they're going to want to tell their friends about you, that they're going to want to share with your friends and family. Oh my God, my agent was so good. She did this for me. She did that for me. She was there for me. I was calling her at this time, at that time, and she always answered my questions. that's what I want. That's how I want to be remembered. That's how I want people to refer me.
How often do you hear that experience in the real estate industry?
Oh, I don't know.
Out of 10 times.
You have to tell me.
Oh, okay. That experience you describe, I very rarely hear it. Very rarely. And I'm talking about first-time home buyers.
Okay.
You know, that's the main thing, because I've learned that the hardest thing I had to do was, yes, I have this knowledge, but if I don't know how to simplify it to make it easy to understand for whoever the family is I'm helping, because every family is different, that was the one thing that really, really broke through. I'm like, oh, now I get it.
Yeah.
It's all about, you know, how do I connect the dots for them? So now I look at it as like, it's our number one decision to help people make a decision, whether that's to buy or not buy. What do you think about the message that you hear often, which is it's always a great time to buy?
Oh, okay. So that's a good one. I think, you know, it's always going to depend on the person's situation and circumstance, right? And this kind of goes back to what you were saying a second ago, which is, you know, when you're breaking things down, that's part of the consumer side for me too. When I first got into the industry, everyone's throwing around, you know, this language and all these acronyms. And I'm like, I hope you're not talking to your clients that way, because no one else knows what an avid is, or no one else knows what the RPA is. And so for me too, when I'm speaking to my clients, I'm making sure that I'm speaking with words and language that they understand,
right,
that they can connect with, that they can, you know, one of the things that I do with a buyer consultation is I sit down, I show them the actual RPA. I have it printed out. I'm like, this is what the offer looks like, you know, because in the beginning too, it could be daunting. Like, you don't know what this offer is. And so until you see it and touch it and feel it in person, and they say, oh, okay, it almost looks like a lease agreement. I've seen this before. It's not as scary.
Right.
And so what you're doing is you're breaking down the persona, or not the persona, you're breaking down the image that they have in their mind of what they think it is versus what it actually is. Same thing with Compass. You know, you might have a vision in your mind of what you think Compass is, and you hear Compass Tech, but until you actually see it and you see the platform for yourself, you're not going to get it. And that's one of the things that I like to do too, like I was showing you. This is our platform. This is why it's so exceptional. This is why it's so great. This is what it can do for you, you know? So in regards to whether or not it's a good time to buy, it depends. But I will tell you this, I haven't met anyone yet so far that's told me I wish I waited to buy. So as long as you have the funds and the means and you're able to make that payment, I would say go for it.
And that I appreciate, because everyone's different, as long as you can afford the payment. And in California, that's the hardest thing. Affordability has become a huge issue. How come San Diego, in your opinion, 2 years you've been here, how come we're not seeing home prices go down from your point of view?
So that goes back to the supply and demand issue, Econ 101. So unfortunately, right now in San Diego, we only have about a month and a half of inventory, whereas in a normal healthy market, you're going to have 6 to 9 month supply of inventory.
Right.
That's not going to change anytime soon. So what we had was during COVID, especially when we had the interest rates drop to an unprecedented level of the 2s and 3%, not only did everyone who could buy, but everyone that could refinance also refinanced. So now you've got a majority of the people that are sitting on homes that are at a very low interest rate. So they have no incentive to sell their home unless they have to, unless they're moving out of state, maybe, or moving for a job or divorce, death, etc. These are the main reasons that we're seeing people that have to move. So if you're not in that category, there's no incentive for you to move. And hence, this is what's also creating the limited amount of inventory that we have. So when you have that limited amount of inventory, the prices aren't going to drop like you want them to drop, because everyone's kind of scrambling, so to speak, to get those limited amount of properties you have left.
Right.
And so you might see price reductions on the, over 1.5 million, 2 million, etc. You might see some price reductions there, but those are already out of reach for most people. So the people that are looking to buy, especially in San Diego, if you're looking for anything under $1 million, your options are limited.
Yep. And I think that brings up another great point about San Diego. Do you think San Diego market, you have relationships throughout the nation, with other
Yes,
real estate
100%.
agents, which I appreciate.
Yes.
If you haven't seen, follow Lina's Instagram and go see one of her videos with what city was she out of?
Oh, I just did one recently with
Yes.
Versa, and she's in Austin. And that's,
Awesome.
Yeah, and that's one of the things again with Compass is we're able to network and we're able to connect with agents all over. And then so if I get even an Instagram lead and someone's looking for property in New Jersey, for example, I'm able to now connect them with my New Jersey agent and get them the help that they need in purchasing that property. So.
And that's the other advantage of like social media. You're huge on your brand, and now we're going to jump into it because we've talked about you, we've talked about real estate. Now let's talk about your brand and what do you see for your brand in the next like 5 years? Where do you want to take your brand? How is your brand going to make an impact for what you want to accomplish?
That is such a good question. I actually have not thought about this, so I'm just going to be on the spot, I guess, right now.
Yeah.
And I will have to say that what I would like to see for my brand, the way I would like it to evolve, is I want to basically I want to be a resource. That's at the end of the day, that's what I want. I want to be a resource. So whether you're looking for some tips and tricks on how to make your, business a little bit better with your phone, with your computer, etc., you'll come to me. You'll come to my YouTube channel where all my tips live. And I've actually recently just started another channel on YouTube for, I guess right now it's in the beginning stages. I've only got 3 or 4 videos on there so far. But that, again, the plan for that is for it to be a resource. So I'm going one by one to each downtown building, and I'm telling you about each building downtown so that, let's say you're in Chicago, you're thinking about moving to San Diego, you want to know a little bit more about the buildings downtown, you'll be able to go to my YouTube channel and you'll be able to learn a little bit about the different buildings downtown. The idea there is to then eventually branch out, do a little bit more, like, for example, do a video of, oh, hey, like, this is the vibe in Little Italy, this is the vibe in East Village, et cetera, et cetera. And then at the same time with that brand, I was concerned about kind of pigeonholing myself into just downtown. So because I was going to do like, downtown San Diego, living.
Yeah.
And so I decided to just keep it open. So I just did San Diego, California living, and we'll see. I'm not 100% sure on the name or if that's going to stay, but that's the idea anyways.
Well, that's great that you're experimenting, and you talked about your analytics, and you're a practitioner.
Yeah.
You really are a practitioner. So what's your definition of a practitioner for the people that are into brand and content creation and marketing?
So I have a couple of things I want to say about that. The one thing I will say is I'm very action oriented. So when I do have these ideas, it's really important for me to then put them into practice and put them into play and make it happen.
How quickly?
So as soon as I can, it depends. It depends on what the project is. Like, with this downtown project, it takes a little bit more time. I have a videographer that needs to meet me at the property that we need to shoot, et cetera, et cetera. So it depends on what it is.
Okay.
When it comes to social media, what's worked for me that perhaps might work for others is definitely having a schedule. So I just have a content creation schedule, and I've stuck to this schedule for going on almost 2 years now. I haven't missed a day. So Mondays are like my marketing Monday. I'll put something real estate related, whether it's market data or something along those lines, or something about maybe the CPI report that's just come out, etc. Tuesdays are my tech tips. Wednesdays are my workout Wednesday. So I try to put something kind of motivational, something about my workouts.
Yep.
On Thursday, I was doing like a thing to know, like, so maybe there's something going on in San Diego, but I've kind of hijacked that day and started doing some throwback tips on there.
Throwback.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Throwback Thursday.
Yeah, because I listen to a lot of podcasts. And so shout out if you haven't already listened to Over Ask or some of the BAM podcasts. They give a lot of content ideas. And one of the things that they said on one of their podcasts was basically about repurposing your content.
Yes.
So you've already shot the content. You already have it anyways. Not everyone has seen it. So you might as well put it out there again. And funny enough, one of the tips I had put out in January, I repurposed to put it out again in June, and it went viral on Instagram and got up to 2 million views.
Look at you.
Yeah. So it's like, okay.
Lina in house.
Well,
You like that?
Well, it goes back to, had I not listened to that and implemented it, right? It's one thing when you listen to something, but when you take it a step further and actually put it into action and implement it, then you're on next level, right? So.
Okay.
But hold on, the week is not done because we got hijacked on Thursday. So Friday is where I have my house music now. So house music lives on Friday. So, I'm trying to make happy house music Friday a day. And Saturdays and Sundays, I keep it open because it depends on what's going on. So if I'm hosting an open house, I want to make sure that I'm promoting that. If I'm doing showings, I'll post something about that, etc. So I
saw your video.
I don't pigeonhole myself on Saturdays and Sundays. I keep that open.
It's the organization. So do you have everything planned out? Are you, where's your main platform? It's Instagram, right?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
We'll get into the nitty gritty of it.
We're going to get into the nitty gritty.
Okay.
You're a brand. Let's talk about your brand. By the way, congratulations. You just hit 10,000, right?
Yeah, thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All organic?
Yeah, all organic.
That's hard to do.
It is.
Yeah. So what's your opinion on buying followers?
I've never done it.
I've done it. I wish I wouldn't have done it.
I think it's, unfortunately, I think back in the day when people didn't know better, it was kind of the thing to do because you're trying to gain that instant credibility. But all you're doing is shooting yourself in the foot because you're not going to get the engagement because they're not real. It's bots and all these other things. And so if I notice that, I'll delete them. So I'll make sure that if I see an account that looks fake, I delete it.
Good. Yeah, I've been doing that recently too, and I did it. I wish I wouldn't have done it because I had enough organic grow. It actually, I think, hurt me. Mm-hmm. So I'm glad that I brought that up because there's a lot of, as you grow like your content, you started 2 years ago. So where would you say you've hit 10,000 in how many years? 2?
Yeah, so just like I was telling you, so up until June, I was like at 2,500 followers. And and then after that video went viral,
boom.
It just shot up another 8,000 followers just from people. And it tells you this person followed you from this reel. So you know that the person watched this reel, they liked it, and they decided to follow you.
Are you doing any videos on your analytics and teaching people how analytics you're watching?
I haven't done anything on that. Yeah,
I really, the quality of what you're recording on your screen is really, really good.
Oh,
so that's, you could tell the people that are meticulous about the content they're putting out, because I've seen some bad camera work. It's not, I get it. It's hard, but you got to take time to practice and do it the right way.
You can see some of my earlier videos where I just had like a colleague in the office just like, hey, can you film this 30-second clip for me real quick? So there's some of those. And also in the beginning, I was trying not to be on camera, to be honest. I was actually just screen recording and talking over it. Yeah. And then I was like, it looks like when I'm in the video, there's more engagement versus just the screen. So let me do that more.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So that was the one reason you got on camera?
For the tech tips, yeah. I was doing other things where I was on camera, but for the tech tips in the beginning, I wasn't on camera.
Got it. And you saw the algorithm work in your favor once you started being in them?
Yeah, I saw more engagement. I saw more comments, things like that. I think, I do treat social media like a job. I take it seriously. I make sure that I batch my content, especially for my tech tips. I have my photographer come once a month. We shoot 4 or 5 tips, and then I have them ready to drop.
There you go.
Throughout the month. And then I think it's just really important to be organized. And then once you have the framework, and that's why I recommend for people that, they might be thinking, Lina, you're crazy. You're posting every single day. That's cool. Don't post every day. Post 2 days. Post 2 days a week and be consistent with it. And at the end of the day, that's what's the most important. Key is consistency. So if it's something that you can do twice a week consistently, then do that. I'm not telling you to post every single day. This is just something that happened to work for me that I happen to enjoy, and that's what it is.
Yeah, and I think, to be a practitioner, it's funny. I've spent so much money on marketing, since I started in this business, buying leads, doing all this stuff. We all do it. And you get to a point where you're like, okay, so I can't outsource me. Ouch.
So true.
I can't outsource me. What are you doing? You know, you're obviously, have you thought about the next steps as you continue to scale? Because your business is going to grow. You've seen your followers grow.
Maybe ManyChat. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. No, I haven't figured out about the scaling part yet.
Yeah.
I think that will come in time. I think right now, because we're kind of entering in a slower season, I have time to get systems in place for when the time is right. And next year, I think, is going to be a really busy year. And I think that if I am able to put systems in place, I'll be ready to rock and roll next year.
Yeah, just getting to know you for a little bit. I don't know if there's an if with what you do. I think it's just a matter of what am I going to do. I'm scared. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm in real estate. I haven't been doing video content. You got started about 2 years ago, right? Mm-hmm. Doing this. What's your, besides take action, like how do you think you overcame your fear of being on video? You saw the algorithm, but was there a fear when you were recording?
You know what? I didn't really have a fear. And I think the reason why is because, I don't know, it's kind of funny. There was a period of time where I wasn't doing social media at all. There was like a 4-year period where I wasn't really on social media. Like, it was one of those things where I think during Lent, I just gave up Facebook and then I didn't go back on it for a while.
Why haven't we talked about this?
But so to go back to the beginning, so to speak, I did watch certain people in the real estate field and I saw what they were doing with social media. And so in my mind, I knew when the time for me to start my platform and build my brand that social media was definitely going to be a part of it. And so I did basically a complete 180. I started a brand new page.
Wow.
And I built it from scratch. So I didn't keep my original old one because that was mostly for family overseas. Right. And, so and I knew this was going to be public. That was the other thing. So I wanted it to be brand new and started it from scratch. And so with that, it was kind of like a way of exploring my creative side that I had never really tried to be creative. I had never really done anything like that before. I was pretty low-key, private person, never used to post, rarely posted, I should say. And so I just did a complete 180 and I'm like, you know what? Let's do this. Let's have fun. I mean, I was the crazy person in the beginning. Like I literally was shooting dancing videos all over San Diego thinking that this was a great idea.
Hey, what's a great idea at the moment, right?
Yeah, no, I thought I was going to highlight all the beaches of San Diego and it was so great and creative. And I quickly pivoted from that into, other content.
Well, I enjoy your brand because it really, really just captures your personality, the creative side of it. What is your favorite, and this is the last question I'm going to ask about branding. What's your favorite part about the creation? Like, where do you get some of your ideas? How do you get inspired?
This is going to sound really cheesy, but they just pop into my head.
There's not one influencer you're really, like, whoa.
No, I just, especially with the tech tips, for example, that's something where, I sometimes will stumble across it or I'm like, man, is there a way to even do this? Like, is there a way? And sometimes I'll just look it up and I'm like, oh, okay, so there's a way to do this and everyone needs to know this. So, yeah. Heck
yeah, they do. I know I picked up at least 2 or 3 times. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll just go to Lina. She's going to know something about it. So where can our audience find you? What are all your handles, your website, your YouTube page? Okay. So where can we go?
All right. For all of the platforms, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, it's Lina_N_house. Just spelled like a house. And I tried to get fancy with that at one point, but that didn't work out. So we went back to the basics on that.
Don't make it complicated.
Yeah. For YouTube, you can find Tech Tips with Lina on YouTube. For the downtown video buildings, for now, it's San Diego, CA living. That's it. San Diego living.
How many to keep track of all those platforms? I get it. Have you done anything on LinkedIn yet?
Oh yeah, I do have a LinkedIn as well, but that's just my name.
It is?
Yeah.
Okay, just that one.
Yeah.
I've been diving into that one. Have you spent any time on that?
No, I just have my nephew who posts for me, and he posts for me on LinkedIn as well.
Okay. So this is going to be a new section. I'm introducing it for you.
Okay.
Go ahead and give out some shout outs of people that really have
Behind the
helped you.
scene?
Oh, yeah. Whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
Give them a shout out.
I would love to do that. So
Yeah.
my first shout out is going to be to Louis Zarur. He is my original photographer of my tech tips. And then my nephew, Nicholas Carruthers, he's the one that helps me out. He posts for me on TikTok, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, and our Compass workplace. And then my videographer that I use for my downtown living is going to be Sal Yono. And then I have to give a big shout out to Josette Alvarez and Jared Nelson. I recently joined their team in January, and that's been a total game changer.
They are a powerful duo.
Yeah.
And they're not funny at all.
They're hilarious. Yeah.
Okay, this will end up on a short. Folks, I don't know why I laugh like that, but it just the real estate world.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, that was all
Really?
just set. Brilliant.
Really?
Brilliant.
Oh, where was the content creation idea? I needed that one. When I saw that, I'm like, that is classic.
Hilarious.
Way to go, Jared.
Yeah.
Another.
No, they're just, and that's the beauty of their dynamic, and I was so, I don't know how to say it. I was just so grateful for the opportunity to even be able to join their team.
Yes.
Yeah.
I get it. And Gisette is a wonderful, like every interaction I've had with her over the years, just fantastic. I don't know Jared as well, but they're just like, I think who you see is who you get
100%,
in person. And they're
100%.
they're so funny and they make fun of themselves, which you got to love.
You have to.
So I just want to thank you. Like, this has been an absolute pleasure. I hope you could see what you can accomplish when you have a plan with your brand. I think Lina is a phenomenal example of someone really, really, and you've exploded, just by repurposing.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
Who would have
thought? So I am Ollie Amirkhiz, your host. I really can't thank Lina enough for all the insight, all the knowledge that she's provided. Once again, Icon Industries, none of this would happen without them. If you need any branding support, you need someone that really, really is going to help share with you the knowledge and information that you need to get your message out there, to make a difference in your community, give them a call. They support my brand, so that way I can become an icon. Lina will definitely be an icon, no doubt about it. Thank you so much for joining us. Please like and share. If we brought value today, definitely make sure you go find Lina for all her tips. Like, I follow her, and this is what I do for a living. Go figure. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.